Welcome to Real Talk with Sterling Real Estate Group, your go-to podcast for all things real estate related. Each episode, we break down the latest market trends, share insider tips, and bring in local industry experts to offer valuable insights that empower your journey. Whether you're buying, selling, building, or investing, we're here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape with clarity and confidence. Let's get real about real estate. Welcome to today's episode of Real Talk. I'd like to welcome Michelle Viola-Straight, Executive Director of Military Home Loans from ClearPath Mortgages. Michelle, welcome. We're excited to have you here today.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So while we get started, before we dive into the VA loans, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to ClearPath and how you do what you do.
It was definitely a long road. I got involved with veteran services and housing about 25 years ago. I have two sons that are actively serving our country,
Wonderful.
and I did veteran housing for many years. I've been a liaison for the FBI. I'm a state trainer for New York State for VA benefits. I work hand in hand with the VA. So my path to ClearPath was very, very clear. I started working with them with the VA home loan benefit because my oldest son actually utilized them when he bought his first few
I
homes.
remember you were telling us when you came in for one of our meetings. That was pretty impactful, that
It was
story.
huge, huge. He was it was the worst scenario ever. He was deployed. There was such a break in information
Mhm.
and it went seamless. And this was way before I was even involved with ClearPath.
Right.
So I was so impressed that I actually I brought my skill set over so we can start helping more veterans and more services utilize this amazing benefit.
And, so that's a perfect segue, right? Let's talk about the misconceptions. I've been an agent for 26 years in the field and doing VA loans, and I know there are a lot of misconceptions out there. So tell us, like, how can we just get rid of those misconceptions, and where do they go for trustworthy information?
So that's a great question. Definitely ask. So a few of the biggest myths that there are a lot of folks will say, "Oh, well, I'm saving my VA benefit." It's like,
Okay, for what?
why are you saving it? Saving it, why? Like, use it, use it. You can use it multiple times. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that people think it's a one-time benefit. I can only use this once and that's it. You can use the VA loan multiple times.
Yeah.
It's an amazing benefit that they created that's very open-ended, ironically.
And that is probably one of the biggest ones because representing some buyers and VAs, and they said I can only use it once. And so how
Mhm.
can we get that word out there? When veterans are looking for homes, how can we more get the word out to them? To squash these misconceptions.
So education, deal if you are thinking of buying or selling a home, align yourself with people in the field that understand the benefit,
Hmm.
that know how to navigate the benefit. Doing informational sessions like this is wonderful because you're able to reach those veterans and active duty members that, they don't have the time to research and look into it. They're going to rely on friends and neighbors and people in the community that they trust.
Right, that have to be educated so they are getting the correct information. And obviously, they can call you, and we'll be sure to post your contact information. So if anybody, has any questions, they can get a hold of you. So let's talk about understanding the benefits. For veterans who may not be familiar with the VA loan,
Mhm.
can you walk us through the key benefits and explain why it's probably one of their best options to utilize?
So the VA benefit is literally one of the best mortgages out there. And it's a benefit. It's not a loan. It's not like, oh, you have a VA loan. It's a VA home loan benefit. And the reason being is because an average civilian cannot access this.
Right.
But the little trick is also not a trick, but you, as well as a veteran or active duty, their widows could use this benefit as well. So it's
Absolutely.
passed along if that person was killed in action or if they were if they were separated and not remarried, you could actually reuse this benefit as a partner as well.
Okay, that's interesting. That I did not know, and I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people out there may not have known that. So that's
Yeah.
that's an excellent tip.
So the benefit, it's very clear and it's very open-ended, and the VA created this benefit for that reason. It needs to fit the needs for a service member that if they need to be deployed, if they need to go to a different service station or duty station, this benefit is made to maneuver. So the VA is known for being very rigid about so many things. The VA home loan, though, is so open-ended. It was created to create the perfect product for that veteran and active duty member when they're looking to purchase.
So is there any someone buys a home, takes out a loan, and they get deployed. What happens? How are they making their monthly payments? Is there leeway with that? If they get deployed, how does that work?
So let's say you purchase a home, you're in the middle of purchasing your home, and then your active orders come and you're getting stationed in Iwo Jima. You're
Okay.
off, you're going to Japan. So what do? You're like, I
Right.
have this home. I have to buy it. Go ahead, finish, purchase the home, rent it out. You go on your active orders. You go to Japan for whatever, 1 years, 2 years, whatever your deployment
Okay.
schedule is. And then while you're there, you could utilize your loan again, which a lot of people don't understand. So
Right.
one of the biggest things, another myth, is you can have two simultaneous VA home loans at the same time. So another example, my son, he had purchased a two-family home.
Okay.
He moved in. His job changed. His living situation changed. So his housing needs changed. He was only in the home maybe about 9 months. He was able to purchase an additional two-family home that did fit his needs. So he moved
Nice.
into that one. So now here the kid, he's a kid, 28 years old.
Right.
He owns 4 units under his VA home loan benefit with 0 down, which
Yeah.
civilians cannot do that.
Right.
There is no
Right.
such thing as no such product like
Right.
this. So here he is. He has income from his 3 apartments. He lives in one, rents out the other three. You have the tax incentives. He's building equity. He's using a
Absolutely.
benefit that you can now establish a huge financial future for yourself. So him, I don't worry about. It's
Right. Right.
wonderful.
And at 28, he's young. You're
Yeah.
still young, so you're right. He's definitely building equity. So I think that's another misconception, right?
Huge.
So
Huge.
all right, that's good. Good. Let's talk about uh, readiness. What factors should veterans consider before applying for a VA loan?
I love this
Right.
question.
I'm sure you do.
So be prepared, and that's why that's my role with ClearPath is to meet with that veteran and that service member and get them prepared. So if you're thinking, 6 months down the road or a year down the road, I want to purchase a home, I would like to invest in real estate, great, let's have that conversation first. So there are factors that come into play. So as a service member with the VA home loan, if you have a service-connected disability,
Okay.
you do not pay the VA funding fee,
Okay.
which
And
is
how?
a good chunk of money.
Okay. Is that dependent on the loan amount or is it a flat fee?
No, it's dependent on the loan
Okay.
amount, but if you have a service connected, even if it's only 10%, that VA funding fee is negated.
Okay.
So let's say I had a situation where a woman wanted to purchase a home. She was in the Marines, came out. She was purchasing a $400,000 home. The person that was working with her with the loan never asked her if she applied for a disability. She had applied. She went forward. She paid the VA funding fee. Well, lo and behold, not 2 weeks later, her letter comes in the mail from the VA. Hey, we just awarded you 50% service connected. She had already paid that fee.
Oh, did she doesn't get it back, does she?
We are working to get that back for her, but this would have been a conversation where to get yourself ready to utilize this
Right.
loan. So work on one of the biggest things with service members is just having credit. It's not bad credit. Bad credit, we can always work on bad
Right.
credit. There
Right.
is no minimum for the VA loan.
Okay. Another good misconception, I
Which
think.
is
Yeah.
wonderful,
Okay.
but working on gaining credit. So a lot of service members go into the service at 18 years old. They don't understand how to save, how to establish credit. They're told by the service what to do. Getting them ready, let's get a secured credit card. Let's see, is there any type of service connected that we can connect you to as well? All this in the long run is going to save them thousands and thousands of dollars and headaches. This way, when they're ready to purchase that home, they could just say, okay, great. I'm going to give you a call. I want to go see this home. I'm ready. I'm set. And then they just start on their
Okay,
process.
that's good. I'm going to throw you a curveball here.
Okay.
How many people do you think you work with a week getting them ready for VA loans?
On average, I speak to about 100 veterans a week.
Wow.
100 veterans,
Okay.
active duty members. Um, we have quite a few active duty deployed that I'm dealing with, and I
Okay.
love those because those are Skype and they're Zoom calls.
Right.
And last week I was on the phone with a gentleman in Africa. He's sitting in a tent, cutest little thing ever, and he's figuring out, how am I going to use my VA home loan benefit? I'm coming home in 4 months. I want to get myself ready. So we had a Zoom call to talk about what he needs to do to get himself ready. And he will have the home found and purchased. So when he comes home from his deployment, he's going to walk right
He
into
has
his first
somewhere to
home.
go. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful. So 100 people. Wow.
There are tremendous amounts of veterans and active duty members in Northeast New York. It's I've traveled the world with my
Right.
sons, different bases, different wherever they went, we were blessed to be able to go and see them. And I have to be honest, New York State,
Uh,
upstate New York is one of the most patriotic, one of the most veteran heavy communities that I have visited. And that's even comparing like South Carolina
wow.
and Virginia, where you would think those
Right.
populations
Right. Would be heavier.
up
Uh,
here, there's a tremendous amount of veterans that have stayed, that they've moved home, that, they've been here now for years.
yeah. Well, this is great. Great area to live in. Um, Another question for you. Can you work with veterans anywhere in the country to get them ready, to purchase? Do you provide financing in another state? They can still work with you. You can get them ready.
So what I will do is I will get them ready. I know how to get them additional benefits in all other counties and
Okay.
all other states. So
Okay.
it's knowing who you need to connect with.
Right.
And it's pretty much cookie cutter from state to state. You have to know, like, you want to speak to the veteran service officers. Some people don't want to deal with the VA, they want other supports.
Right.
So just providing them with that support, it's literally we're just a phone call away.
Wow. It's that easy. And do you have the connections through the VA? So if they need to talk to someone, you're guiding them in the right direction. Phone number, the contact person, and they know they're being referred by you to, obviously to work hand in hand with you.
Yes, there are tremendous resources that the VA offers, and again, some people are just not in love with the VA,
Right.
and I understand that, but there are additional supports that you can utilize. There are, centers, there's other organizations, there's nonprofits that you can connect them to for either mental health, physical care, helping them get when they so if they come home, they purchase a home, now they don't have anything in it.
Right.
So
Right.
what are you going to do? We can connect them to additional services that'll help them fit up the house with some furniture, get them a bed, get them some food, get them household items. These are things when you come out of the service, you're basically you have a sea bag and
Right.
that's it. You
Yeah.
really don't have anything else. So helping them, we can connect them to help them to additional supports as well.
That's wonderful. So you're not just helping them buy a home, all the additional support. Look at that. That's amazing. Let me see what else do I have. So we talked about long-term planning a little bit, right? So getting with you
Mhm.
maybe 6 months before, even a year before. We always tell buyers, talk to a bank, get yourself pre-approved or pre-qualified. You want to make sure
Mhm.
there's nothing that may sneak up on your credit report that you found out about.
True.
So, all right. So, question for you. Back last year, that's when we first met. We met here. So we were doing a food drive for the local Veterans Housing Coalition here in Boston Spa.
Yes.
Are you still actively involved with like charity work or food drives or anything with that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I pretty much work 7 days a week, probably about 20 hours a day.
Wow.
I'm very involved in all aspects of veteran services. So past, present, and future. If you're thinking about enlisting, I work with a ton of Oh my goodness, totally drawing a blank.
Recruiters
Yes,
or right,
thank you.
right, right.
A ton of recruiters. I love working with them because that's really where the magic happens. They're new, they're excited, they're just enlisting, giving them that information, how to utilize your GI Bill, how to connect to other benefits. One of the biggest things, and I just want to point out, there's a lot of folks that I want them to be aware of marketing.
Okay.
So there's a lot of targeted marketing campaigns that really hit veterans and active duty that are not correct.
Oh, okay.
So that's
That
something that I really want to hit home with our service members. Looking in marketing campaign, a lot of these companies will market towards veterans and service
right.
members. It's a large population. It's a very small group. It's your marketing is very different. A lot of it is very misleading, and a lot of it is wrong.
So we
So
have to change that.
we
We need
do.
to change that.
Be
Okay.
careful when you're dealing with, like big box marketers,
Mhm.
just because there's American flag and there's somebody in a pair of camis and saluting, it doesn't really mean they're always in your best interest. Do
Right.
your due diligence, understand. The biggest thing when you utilize your VA home loan benefit is creating a team. You want to create a battalion. You want to create a platoon of these
With Michelle,
people.
clearly.
You got it. That got your back. One of the biggest sayings
Right.
in military is "We got your six,"
Right.
and
Yeah,
we
hear
got
that a
your
lot.
six.
Oh,
We
that's
will
wonderful.
absolutely go to bat for you. So, creating a team of having somebody work with you on your services, have an agent that you work with that understands or is able to or wants to work with somebody, a loan officer that does understand the program.
Okay.
It's creating that powerful team that is going to get you to the finish line. It's going to have less bumps along the way.
Right. Right. And that I was gonna follow up with a question. How should a potential buyer pick the right agent to represent them? Do you feel that they need to have that military, designation under their belt or just be well versed in the VA process with you? Because I know you guys work with a lot of our agents here.
Mhm.
We'll do more because there's a lot that I learned here today
Yeah.
that I think is important that agents know. So do you think they need to have that designation or what should they look for in an agent for specifically VA?
That's a great question. And no, you don't have to be a veteran to serve a veteran. So I'm not a veteran. I'm a veteran. An active duty mom. I am just everybody's mom. Interviewing that agent and saying, "Okay, this is my situation." That's the biggest thing. You don't have to be a veteran yourself. You don't have to be active duty, but
Okay.
work with an agent that is familiar with the process, that does know who the go-to people
Right.
are in the
That's
community
important.
to make those phone calls, make those connections, and help them along the way, finding them discounts on other things, insurance providers.
Right. Yeah.
I'm big on like, hey, tell them that you're active duty. And if you can save 5%,
Right.
it's 5% less because, these service members, when they were in, they're making less than minimum wage
Yeah.
on a daily,
Yeah.
and they're putting their lives on the
On the line
line.
for us, correct. Yeah.
So asking the questions, working with agents and with agencies that are familiar with it, that understand the process, that know the go-tos, that is the best thing. Create your battalion, your
Right.
platoon, and you will then be nobody will be able to get into that, which is
Okay.
wonderful.
So, what how can Sterling Real Estate Group and my agents help you get more word out and kind of squash those misconceptions?
That's wonderful. So, by doing informational sessions like this is great. Know what the myths are. Know that there's no PMI. You can use it multiple times. You can use it for investments. Getting the word out is the biggest thing. So, here in your community, you have the naval base, you have many recruiting stations, you have a few bases down in Albany, you have another few bases up in Glens Falls and beyond. So,
Okay.
you're right in the middle. So you have a tremendous amount of active duty and veterans that are in our community from 109th and Schenectady. They
Right.
love living up north and traveling down. Just making those connections, just
Okay.
creating awareness pieces like this to help share. There is support and there are experts out there that know how to utilize this benefit.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, Michelle. You okay with that? This is a
Okay.
good one. Are you able to go in, to these bases locally and do a presentation and about VA loans?
We can. We do.
Okay.
So we go to recruiting stations.
Okay.
We deal with the family readiness officers. I'm on 6 different committees for
Wow.
Northeast New York for helping veterans transition when they're transitioning out of the service. Since we really don't have an active base here, we have
Right.
active bases, but we don't have a base where there's housing. Um, Housing is always offsite. So here
Okay.
it's imperative for us to be involved in those other organizations because these are the places where you can help those families that are moving to this area
Okay.
make those housing decisions.
Okay.
And your family readiness officers, which are the FROs for the bases, they're your first line of defense.
Great. We would love to pair you up with 1 or 2 or even as many agents as you want and maybe do an informational session.
That would be
So
great.
that would be great. So like I said, Sterling Real Estate Group, we got your 6,
Yeah,
right?
you
There you
got
go.
it.
Michelle, is there anything that we're missing that we didn't cover today to help our veterans out there buy a home?
It's wonderful information. Again, I can't hit home more about marketing. Those big box stores, do your homework,
Mhm.
ask questions, give me a call. You don't have to use me for a mortgage. You could actually just call and ask, say, hey, listen, I have questions about my VA benefit, about this. Let me connect you. One of the biggest disservices is connecting is when these veterans and service members don't know who to connect to in the community.
Right. Okay. Well, we certainly, again, will help get the word out. Do you want to share your contact information and we'll make sure we'll have it, in our podcast notes of how they can get a hold of you. But if you want to
Absolutely.
just give a shout out at how they could, directly get a hold of you, that would be great.
Sure. So ClearPath Mortgage Solutions, my email is Michelle with 2 L's at clearpathmortgages.com. Phone number 518-573-4414. You can call me, text me. I'm pretty much available anytime.
20 hours a day.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, wonderful, Michelle. We appreciate you spending time. I know you work a lot of hours, so we'd love to have you back again.
Yeah.
And we're here, like I said, we got your 6. So anything that we can do to support you and our veterans.
Thank you.
Okay.
This was
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Real Talk with Sterling Real Estate Group. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. If you have any questions about real estate or topics you'd like us to cover, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at info@sterling518.com.